Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another one of the TravelMole broadcasts during this pandemic time. And today we're going to go to one of Asia's most popular destinations for Britons, and that's Sri Lanka. And if you're in the UK and you're talking about Sri Lanka, there's only one person really you're going to talk to, and that's Jean-Marc. And Jean-Marc is on the other end of this Zoom call. Good afternoon, Jean.
Good afternoon, Ayubowan and Vanakkam.
And the same to you, because I'm not sure what you've just said, but I'm hoping it's welcoming and it's polite.
Absolutely. Ayubowan is our traditional greeting, which means may you be blessed with long life. And Vanakkam is the equivalent in Tamil. And it's very apt because travel agents and trade in the UK and globally have really sustained Sri Lanka so many times in crisis that we want to thank you in advance for the work you have done in the past and you're going to be doing for us and with us into the future.
Good. Well, I like that sentiment very much. If I could repeat it, I would.
Ayubowan.
Jean-Marc, Sri Lanka, what do you think that in the post-COVID world, everybody's getting very excited about the fact that a vaccine is coming along, and maybe by this time next year, the world will be free to travel as they please. What do you think it is about Sri Lanka that will attract visitors in this post-COVID world, as opposed to what may have attracted them in the pre-COVID world?
Great question. I think a couple of things. Number one is the low density tourism. It took, I think, till 2003 for Sri Lanka to reach 500,000 visitors. And in 2009, we reached 1 million visitors. Now, many of our competing destinations are in 20 million, 30 million. So even at our peak, we only reached 2 million visitors. So it's not crowded. Number two is that there's a lot of new boutique and unique experiences of 10 to 20 rooms. And so they're very small, very outdoor, no air conditioning, public areas, restaurants are all non-air conditioned. So it again adds to this low density feel, and some of these pictures in the background show some of these pictures. The third is immunity boosting cuisine. And what I mean by that is that Sri Lankan food has spices, has cardamom, cloves, turmeric, and all of these have strong medicinal values. And it's one of the reasons that Asians and Sri Lankans have been able to not stop COVID from happening, but slow the impact that COVID has on their bodies, is because they're taking all of these natural ingredients that have good immune boosting parts to it. And another reason is that we have always been sticklers for processes and procedures. Having worked with the tourist board, I've sometimes get frustrated because we have so many processes and procedures. But what I bring out in this is in the now and into the future, we have a very strict protocol that's in place that everybody is following and has to follow. So that helps. And all the reasons that people came to Sri Lanka before COVID, the food, the hospitality, the ancient cities, the nature, the friendly people, all of that is still there.
Good. The defense against COVID, that's a bold claim, to saying basically have a hot Sri Lankan curry and you might be okay. As they're saying at the moment, listen to the science. I could understand it maybe protecting from a few sniffles, but to lessen the impact of COVID, that's a bold claim. Is that something that Sri Lanka has been pushing?
No, that's something that I've said. And I'm not saying it's going to stop COVID. All I'm saying it's immune boosting. And we all know the healthier you are, the fitter you are in any illness, including COVID, the more likely you are going to be able to defend against any attack on your body. And that's purely, it's not anything that the government has said or anything like that.
Okay, fair enough. Now, do you think that so far that the Sri Lankan tourism authorities have done enough, or they are planning enough to accentuate the values and the features that you've just mentioned about the wide open spaces, the boutiques, the spicy food, and et cetera, et cetera? Have they done enough so far? Are they planning enough? Or do you, as a representative of some Sri Lankan properties and Sri Lankan attractions in the UK. Does it frustrate you?
I think the government has done too much. We have really attacked COVID in Sri Lanka with lockdowns in March. I think everything was locked down for over a month. I mean, curfew level lockdown. We had a bit of an outbreak a couple of weeks ago. And again, there's a severe curfew in place in many areas. We have created a protocol in Sri Lanka with the private sector input, and that is being implemented. So all hotels are being audited by KPMG, who won the tender to do the audit, international audit firm. So hotels right now are going through those audits. The airport is not open yet because, again, we're trying to make sure that everything is done perfectly or as well as we can. And so in that line, I think a lot is being done. There is still more to be done, but we're not rushing. And that's where I come out with we're doing too much, because I would have loved for the airport to have been opened 2 months ago. And reality is it's not going to be open for a couple more weeks at least. So yes, a lot is being done.
What about the tourism authorities, though? Are they, I mean, it's all very well doing all this work, but if nobody knows about it, then no one's going to come because they think it's going to still be slightly risky to go.
Yeah, no, it's a very valid point. The problem is it's a moving feast. For us to make an announcement, as we did in July, saying we were going to open the airport in August, but then things changed and we couldn't open the airport in August. So I think till we have a concrete 100% situation that we say, yes, we are ready and everything is ready and the country is ready, I don't think there's many statements that can be made. Of course, the industry worked closely. So the Tourism Authority worked with the Hotels Association, PASL, the Sri Lanka Association of Independent Tour Operators, and SLITO. And so they're all working together to combat this. And yeah, I wish we could have had something sooner. But at the end of the day, we only get one chance to get this right. And we're playing with lives, Sri Lankans, as well as foreigners. So we need to get it right.
Fair enough, I understand. Let's leap forward in time. Let's get into that Sri Lankan time machine and go forward to say this time next year when everything is going to be cushy. We're going to have everybody's going to be vaccinated. We've got protocols in place. Give me some examples of these boutique hotels that you talk about, these open space hotels that might be attractive to our audience, i.e. travel agents and tour operators, and in turn, obviously, their clients, the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we first look at what makes Sri Lanka attractive, it's our hospitality. And that's the greeting, the smile, the extra little touches, the friendliness, the gifts. The cuisine, so it's natural food, healthy food, and a lot of our food is naturally vegetarian or even vegan, and can easily be made. And it's our culture. So those are the three pillars that we rest a lot of our offering on. So from that point of view, we've opened a new hotel in Kandy, this background where this picnic basket is right now. It's in the hills, double the elevation of Kandy in an area called Hantana. And it gives you both the experience, and this is the picture of the hotel also. It gives you an experience of the hills of a tea planter's bungalow, but also the nature and the wildlife. So as part of the tour, as part of your stay with us, you're doing walks, you're doing hikes, you're seeing bird life, you're enjoying nature while relaxing and picking up the culture of one of the most important cities, Kandy. Another one, which again just opened in August, is called Taru Villas, and a particular one, which is Riva, which is our new property in Negombo. And here too, it's an old colonial manor. It's a manor house. It is 180 years old, just 10 rooms, very spacious, big verandas, etc. So there's a lot of new things in Sri Lanka and a lot of existing properties that are changing and relooking at the way they do things. So I was speaking the other day to a hotel, which I don't represent, but is called Villa Hundira, and understanding what they do in terms of the warm homestay hospitality. So yeah, there's a lot of different properties doing a lot of exciting things. If I can throw in a plug for secretsofceylon.co.uk, you can see 33 boutique hotels and presentations by them on what makes them unique. There are some hotels I represent and some others also that I don't represent.
That's good. Now, one of the things about Sri Lanka, and as you and I know, because we discussed this in the very early part of 2020, was that Sri Lanka has had some terrorism incidents in the past that would have put people off potentially from visiting. Where do we stand with that now? I know that when we were going to go, but we couldn't because of COVID, that the scenario was Sri Lanka is now a safe destination. Has that situation been modified in any way? Has it become safer? Has the terrorism threat increased? Where are we at with that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I think it's very important to differentiate two things. Sri Lanka had a long war over 30 years, and that was devastating for the country and the economy, and it came to an end in 2009. And from that point, that was a military defeat of a terrorist organization. And so from that point, Sri Lanka became very safe and tourism boomed. A really unfortunate and isolated incident happened in Easter 2019. And that was where few explosions happened in Colombo hotels and in some churches in Colombo and Negombo near the airport. And that turned out, after research and arresting some people and getting better intelligence, that it was a very isolated incident, which we really don't think will ever happen again. So the first 3 or 4 months after Easter 2019, there was a lot of fear, even amongst the Sri Lankans, of uncertainty till we started to understand the picture. And of course, our partners, our travel agents and tour operators and our customers around the world were nervous to visit. By December, with sustained peace and reassurances from the partners, tourism was flourishing again. And last December, Feb this year were amazing. So there's no reason to believe that either two of these incidences would ever happen again. And so, yes, we don't think about it. Life goes on and it's very normal. There have been a lot of extra precautions taken. The military has changed their protocols and their systems to have better intelligence, because it was unfortunately seems to have been some sort of a failure in communication where we knew the threat, but we didn't neutralize the threat. And I really don't see that happening again.
Okay. Well, we've established it's safe, both from a terrorism and a COVID point of view. We've established that the food is not only delicious, but will protect you and make you immune from certain, make you healthier, in effect, and give you some immunity from certain bugs. But it's not going to make you invincible.
No.
The open spaces, the hotels, everything sounds good. There's one little fly in the ointment at the moment, and that is there's nobody flying there. What do you know? What can you tell us about any airlift that may be planned?
So airlines have expressed support. We have our national carrier, which is a major component, but Emirates, Qatar, Oman Air, from this part of the world, that would help the British traveler. And of course, many Asian airlines are all ready to fly in. The problem is the airport is closed. The airport is closed specifically to get control on what's happening in Sri Lanka. And we first need to bring back all the stranded Sri Lankans overseas. There's a lot in the Middle East who are still trying to come back. And when we bring them in, unlike, say, in the UK, where you can just leave the airport and go to your home, you have to enter into an official quarantine center, government run, or within one of our beautiful hotels. And so it's a very tight control, and you have to stay there for 2 weeks till you prove that you don't have COVID, and then you're allowed to go into the community. So there's a bottleneck there, and that's why it's taken us so long to reopen the airport. I know a new committee was just formed with the private sector, and plans are pushing ahead, because we have actually 2 international airports, one near Negombo or north of Colombo, and one between Galle and Yala in Hambantota. And so plans are afoot to make an announcement soon with an reopening date. I'm unfortunately not privy to that opening date, but we believe that an announcement will be made very, very soon.
Okay, well, Jean-Marc, thank you very much for your time. If people want more information about your represented hotels or Sri Lanka in general, what's the best place for them to go apart from Sri Lanka whatever it might be?
So
Is it to go to come and see you?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk with all agents. The official tourist board website is srilanka.travel, but my business is yourtourismpartner.com. So yourtourismpartner.com, and my mobile number is there. My email is there. I have videos on the different hotels that I represent. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk and encourage you and answer any of your concerns.
Marvelous. Well, thank you for your time.